What it do, people? Tough loss on Sunday, still winless at home. But we here. It's your boy. It's Jeff. It's Chux. It's your boy Pete. Senna, Sergeant in Arms, A2D. Stand up. Run that intro.
Let's go! This ain't the rock night. Austin Ginker, he stinks.
Oh shit!
It's gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Birds of a Feather on A2D Radio coming at you for another action-packed week. We are brought to you by FanUp. FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today and use promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points, which is a $50 value. Make sure you get on that FanUp app. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and if you're listening to us on Apple Podcast in the morning on your commute, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. It's your boy Chux here coming at you once again. To my left, as usual, is Mr. Pete Evans. What's going on, bro?
Man, just happy to be here. Another day in paradise. Let's get at it.
And then below us, as usual as well, Mr. Jeff Warner. What's good, man?
What's going on, fellas? Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. So appreciate for your service, and let's get talking some football, baby.
Absolutely. We got so much to talk to you about on this Veterans Day. And if you're tuning with us, thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. And we got a lot to cover today. We are doing a mid-season report, recap, predictions, everything. We're at the halfway point of the NFL season. So to start off the show, we're going to talk about who the team to beat is in the NFL right now. Who do we feel should be the Super Bowl favorite? And then we're going to talk about the Eagles-Chargers game, give our recap, give our thoughts. What do we think about the loss? Was it a moral victory in any sort of the way? Was it encouraging, or is it the same old, same old? And then we're also going to talk to you about surprises and disappointments in the second half of the show. Surprises, disappointments. Who do we think is the biggest surprise and who is the biggest disappointment in the league, team, player-wise, so on and so forth. The last part of the show, in the fourth quarter of the show, we've got predictions for the second half of the NFL season. Who's going to win awards? Who's going to make the playoffs? Who's going to win the Super Bowl? We'll make some of our predictions. We'll also give you some analysis on the Chargers, Dolphins, Ravens game that will be coming on in about 20-ish minutes. And then to end the show, of course, we have, as usual, our No Huddle segment where we come at you with rapid stuff. It can be football. It can be other sports. It can be Marvel, which seems to be a theme. We should be doing a lot of MCU talk here at the end of the show. So we'll come at you then. But first, our poll question for this evening, which is brought to you by All Campus, home of the A2D Rant booth. They are giving 20% off everything in their store, including hats, shirts, and team cornhole sets to all their subscribers. So make sure you check them out. They are our sponsors to our poll, which is the Green Bay Packers are currently the best team in the NFL. Agree or disagree? We want your thoughts. Are they the top team in the league right now? And if you disagree with the poll, I want you to comment with who you think the top team is. So let's get at it. We got it. Kickoff, first quarter of the show now. So here we go. I'm going to start this off because before the season, I want to start this off because before the season, my prediction for Super Bowl champion was the Green Bay Packers. And so I want to get into this. Right now, I'm going to agree to the poll but it's very tough. I can't say that with confidence. There are about 4 teams in the NFC alone that to me are legit contenders. The Packers, the Cardinals, the Bucks, and the Rams. If a certain someone had signed with the Packers today instead of the Rams, I would have more confidence in my answer to this poll. But he didn't. He signed with the Rams. But all that aside, I still think the Packers are the team to beat in the NFL. I just think that they are. We saw in week 1, they had a really, really bad loss. They looked just completely out of it. But in usual Packers fashion, in Aaron Rodgers fashion, he says to everybody, relax, RELAX, relax. And we've seen them since then just be consistent, be a similar team they were last year. So I think Aaron Rodgers is back. I really do think that this year, with it possibly being his final year in Green Bay, is going to really go out with a bang. So I like what they're going. They're leaning on the run game. They're passing games through Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. That connection, that QB wide receiver connection, is the best in the league. And their defense is getting better. And they're getting back Jair Alexander. Remember, he's been hurt. Their top corner. He is an elite corner. They're getting him back soon. So I'm going to say agree to the poll, but it is also very close. You easily could make an argument for other teams in this league right now. So, Jeff, do you agree or disagree to the poll? I kind of hope you disagree because I want to hear you make the case for other teams, because I really do think it is an interesting and debatable topic. You can make an argument for a lot of teams, but what do you say?
I'm gonna have to disagree with the poll. Look, I love Aaron Rodgers. One of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. Just the way he plays the game and his athleticism and the way he throws the football. He's exciting to watch. He's one of the all-time greats. But as far as a team going in the halfway point of the season, I have to agree with Jake. The Rams right now, they just keep the rich, like he said, the rich just keeps on getting richer. They trade for Von Miller. They now expected to sign Odell Beckham Jr. with the likes of Cooper Kupp, who's easily probably one of the top offensive player the year candidates. Matthew Stafford's having the resurgence of his career, and then that defense with Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald and all those guys up front. I kind of feel the Los Angeles Rams are the more complete team when we look at it, and they just continue to add more talent. Also in a tougher division. You have to remember they're playing with the Seahawks. They're playing with the Arizona Cardinals. It's a steeper and tougher competition, in my opinion, and they're showing that they can not only can contend in the NFC, but most likely the NFL also.
Pete,
Listen. I'm disappointed in both of you. Well, that's one. I'm gonna tell you right now from the rip. Once we get to the Eagles, Brock, I'm coming in with some heat, and I'm coming in with some heat for the head that wears the crown here on this platform. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be testy. I might get a text after this shit. But with that being said, neither one of those teams can win with their B game. We saw the Rams couldn't win with their B game against the Titans on Sunday. Now, obviously, the Chiefs is not cheating right now. You know what I mean? Jordan Love had plays in that game to win on Sunday in Arrowhead. I think if it's still called Arrowhead, that may be called something else now. But neither one of those teams, and even the Rams, because the Rams, and I'm going to tell you, the biggest crutch against the Rams is McVay folds under pressure. McVay folds in the big games from a head coaching standpoint. How neither one of y'all, and not even in the chat, people ready to crown the Rams, I'll take Tom Brady any fucking where, any field on any day of the week, and I'll fucking win.
That's fair. That is completely fair.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you talk about a team that's low, I want to say loaded, but balanced on both ends. They can beat you running the ball. They can beat you throwing the ball, and you got a surgeon back there who's making the decisions where to go with the ball, and the defense travels. And Todd Bowles is seasoned. Kayvon Keller, it ain't the Cardinals. I don't give a fuck. They the flash in the pan right now. Holla at me when Cliff Kingsbury is in a conference championship game going against Tom Brady. That's when it makes a difference.
So here's what I will rebuttal with real quick. because that is an absolute fair point. And the fact that they're the defending Super Bowl champs and returned everyone for this season, and I said it before the year started, so I definitely get it. That's a huge advantage to them. So I totally agree to that. I hear you. But who was the one team in the playoffs that came so close to beating them, and really that you could argue they beat themselves more so than the Bucs beat them? And that was the NFC Championship game.
Oh yeah,
Packers. So
Rodgers still should have ran the ball. I don't know what he was thinking on that fourth down play. Just run.
That is why I also I am really high on the Packers, because I feel like they are angry over. They feel like they let that game go. Okay. So right now, with it being their last season with Rodgers, they are on a mission. It's one of those things where there's nothing tangible for me to back it up with, other than the fact that I just think they have their sights set more so than any other team. Like, they are on a mission. They will not be denied. Like, from a talent standpoint, you can make a case for other teams.
Right.
But as we saw, the Packers versus Cardinals, the Packers are not as talented as the Cardinals on paper, but they beat them. Right. So I think if there's any team that can challenge the Bucs, it's the Packers. That's why.
The only thing I will say to that is everything you just said about the Packers reminds me of the 97 and 98 Jazz, and they lost the year before to the Bulls. What the fuck happened in 97 and 98 and the 98 finals? They still lost to the Bulls. Why? Because of Michael Jordan. Tom Brady, a la Michael Jordan. They don't have the best player in the clutch moment. It's as simple as that. And you can have all the 1-2 in the world. You can be the Rams. You can be fucking Glitz and Gammer. You can have all the talent in the world. OBJ, if OBJ goes to Green Bay, hands down, I agree. Because then he's actually going to get equal share. It makes Devontae's job easier. Aaron Rodgers had, for the longest time, probably since I'll probably say since old Driver and young Jordy Nelson and young Randall Cobb, hasn't had a weapon like that. Multitude of weapons on the outside if he would have got OBJ as well. What Absolutely. OBJ is thinking, leaving from Cleveland to go to LA, I get it. Yeah, it's a better quarterback situation. Is Baker Mayfield better? Is Matt Stafford better than Baker Mayfield? Yes, but I don't see what he didn't improve his situation. I'm at a loss as to why he chose to go there. Outside of the fact of a lot of players go to LA for the fact that they have other endeavors or other business ideas outside of whatever the sports is.
Well, he wants to win a ring. That's what it is. And
he ain't doing it, bro. Listen, I will book it right now, November 11th, Veterans Day 2021. As long as Sean McVay is the head coach of the Rams, they are not going to win a Super Bowl. He showed you what it was, because in that Super Bowl against the Patriots, they were the better team, and he couldn't do shit. I don't even want to get me started on Doug Peterson. I'm just saying, but he couldn't do shit in big games. I'm trying to think outside of that one NFC Championship game and those 2 wins that year. Didn't they lose to Atlanta to make Atlanta come here?
They lost to is it Atlanta that they lost? They lost in the playoffs in another game. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't trust that dude in a big game, and so. While the Rams and pretty much Les Snead is saying, screw these draft picks, I don't care about them. We're trying to win now. It's one ball, dog.
Yep.
Look at what happened with Deshaun. Deshaun went there. Everybody was saying the same shit. Deshaun had 2 plays. Now Deshaun is suiting up for Las Vegas. OBJ would have been better off going to Vegas to go to a long shot to win the team, unless he just want to really throttle down his career. It doesn't make sense to me, and there's only one ball. I don't get the whole...
I think because before we move on real quick,
right. So Brickman says Rams are the only team with no bad losses. Who are the Bucs' bad losses? What bad losses do the Bucs have? I mean, you can count the New Orleans games as a bad loss when they changed quarterbacks and they were prepared for Jameis Winston all week, who really doesn't throw the ball, and then Sean Payton puts in Trevor Siemian, he gets to throw the ball around the field, and Brady has, but that's a divisional opponent. Now, if you want to sit here and say our best quality win this year is against Atlanta, because look at where Atlanta's at now.
Yeah,
4-4.
I hear. Real quick, guys. The our first comment of the evening, which is brought to you by Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping with code A2D at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for their job with Manscaped. Manny Martinez is the first comment of the night. He says, working nice, just wanted to say what's up. Guys, fly, Eagles fly, go Birds. Thank you, Manny. And he does follow it up later on saying he does disagree to the poll. Also, our first quarter sponsor, I forgot to read. It's my fault. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, you're looking for a change in your career or brokerage, contact Alan Foy at EXP Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit him at alan.foy@exprealty.com. So we got the comment section is pretty hectic right now. Let's get to some of them real quick before we move on with this. This is a good discussion, and Jeff, I want to hear your rebuttal. But, we got Kayvon saying, yo, Ravens winning tonight by 40. Jake Friel says, what's up, fellas? Going to disagree to the poll. It has to be Rams. The rich keep getting richer. Brigman says, I like Buffalo, so I disagree. Buffalo, who just lost 9-6 to the Jags. So just want to throw that in there. Titans also get no love because of Henry. Povia says, Rams for sure now. Brigman says Rams are the only team with no bad losses. You already covered that. Daly says, disagree. I have to say, even before OBJ, Rams are the best overall team in the NFL. Kayvon goes with the Cardinals. I got Kyler for MVP, though. So we got, again, there's a lot of mention of the teams that I talked about. A lot of teams at the top you could definitely make an argument for. When it comes to the Rams, I want to say this. I understand why OBJ went there because they have mortgaged their future. They don't have any picks in the next few years, any early picks. They got rid of all of them. They have Aaron Donald. They traded for Jalen Ramsey before. They traded this past offseason for Matt Stafford. They just traded, last week? They traded for Von Miller, and they're signing OBJ. They are going all in to win now mode. They don't care about the future. They want to win just now. There's no other team in the league that is in win now mode more than the LA Rams. So I get why OBJ went there because he knows that they're doing everything they can to win now. And you can definitely make an argument for them to be the favorite. But what I will say is that if they do not win, that is a monstrous loss and disappointment for that team. And with OBJ, he's only on a 1-year deal. So if they lose, it doesn't matter to him. There's no risk for him. He can go there. If they win, he gets his ring. If they lose, it's sayonara. I'm not part of this. So that's why I get why OBJ went there. But Jeff, what do you think about other teams, like the other teams that we mentioned? Because I know you just mentioned who did you mention before? You said your argument was for the Rams, right?
Yeah, I picked the Rams.
Yeah, so what other teams are there that could threaten? Because I say Packers, you say Rams, he says Bucks. Is there a team in the AFC that's gonna make a case for the top seed? It seems like it's an NFC favorite, NFC heavy year this year.
Yeah, which is definitely surprising because going into this year in the last few years, usually the favorite has always been a huge AFC class, especially when you have the likes of Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. You kind of expect the AFC to be the more dominant conference, but this year it's changing, making a change. Turn a little bit of a turn, and look, I honestly don't think right now there's one definite favorite right now. There's a lot of teams that are playing great football. There's a lot of teams that you expect they're having bad weeks, like the Bills last week. Look, yeah, they lost 9-6 to the Jacksonville Jaguars, but every team's gonna have their bad week. And for the Buffalo Bills, luckily it's middle of the season. They can regroup now. They can get things back on track and make a second half run to try to contend in the AFC. Buffalo is definitely one of those favorites. So Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and that defense, you can never count them out. So they're one team. Also, the Baltimore Ravens, they're a team that has a former MVP at quarterback. If they can stay healthy, they have a lot of weapons on the offense side of football that they can contend and make a push for a championship. So that's the one thing about this season. Like I said, it's not one chalked up to be a winner. You can speculate who might be, like we keep on bringing up the Rams, and a lot of people agree that they're the best overall team. But a lot of the time, the best overall team doesn't win the championship. It's a matter of who gets hot, who has the momentum, who has the confidence heading into the playoffs. Look at us. When we lost Carson Wentz, we didn't expect for Nick Foles to go on the lightning in the bottle run that he did and take us to a championship. It's because we were a complete team and we had Nick Foles carried the load. But look, anything can happen in the NFL. So it's going to be a fun second half of the season for everyone.
I agree. Now, to speak to your point real quick, Chux, about the OBJ with the Rams and the situation and his thinking behind it, my only other thing is that if he goes to Green Bay, and they do have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl, right? Not only because he think about this year and getting the ring, but that may make Rodgers want to stay next year and maybe the year after that. Maybe that may be something that they actually can keep together. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. But Jeff, all valid points. I mean, last week showed you I went from being in a survivor pool with like 100 people to now having 11 after last Sunday. Because all the New Orleans lost to Atlanta. Cordell Patterson was a beast. What was the other key loss? There was another upset for a favor. Oh, the Bills. You know what I mean? The Bills was a loss. You know, so it just shows you every week. And just to go back to my Bucks point, not to sit here and say to really state my point, what Brinkman said, the Rams have no quality losses. Fuck, the Bucks lost to the Saints in New Orleans, and they lost to the Rams in LA.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, every week we crown a team, and then how many times has the number one seed in the AFC changed? I think it's changed 3 times in the last 3 weeks. You know what I mean? After Cincinnati beat Baltimore, it was since
the Bengals lost. Exactly, the Bengals lost to the Jets. Like, it gets. I don't like using the excuse of, oh well, this team beat that team, or like what Brinkman says here, like they had Rams are the only team with no bad losses. It doesn't matter how many bad losses you had. Last year, the Bucks, how much of the season did they go not looking impressive? But what mattered was that toward the end of the year, they started to put it together. And in the playoffs, they were clicking. So that's what matters. It doesn't matter, who you play on your schedule and lost to before. What matters is your record to get you into the playoffs, to get you into the dance, and what you do from there on. That all those bad losses, whatever, that it doesn't matter come playoff time. So I don't like going by that. I go by how I look at the team structure, their health, their talent, how the NFL season is such a long journey, and it's so many things can happen from week to week, from month to month. So right now we're making cases for these 4 teams, 4+ teams. Heck, a month from now we could be saying that, hey, like, it's a total other case for some other teams. Who knows? Right. Maybe Seattle, with Russell Wilson comes back, maybe Seattle starts to make a push and they go undefeated the next month or so. And who knows? Maybe I don't know. Maybe the Bills fall off. Maybe the Rams start to struggle. Who knows? So all I know is
who would be a team that you see the potential? Because I would argue to say, I think so. We had the Packers come up, the Rams come up, the Bucks come up, and who was the 4th team? Was it the Bills that we talked about?
So Packers, Cardinals.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Cardinals. Yeah. Because I do like the Cardinals, and if there was, for me as a rooting fan, if it's not the Packers, I would love to see the Cardinals win it. Yeah, so, a big part is because Zach Ertz is there, but I also love Kyler Murray.
I mean, he's a likable guy. So that's 4 teams. We haven't mentioned the Titans. We haven't mentioned the Bills at all. You know what I mean?
I think some people did. Yeah, some people did.
I'm talking about us. As serious contenders, the Bills haven't gotten serious contention. The Bengals haven't gotten serious contention because they haven't been consistent. But if the Titans can somehow stave off the loss of Derrick Henry and somewhat get him back at that 6-week mark, which I think would be like
that would be huge.
Week 14 or 15.
Yeah.
I mean, because we talk about the big thing for me when I think about the best team in the league is they can go anywhere and win on the road. They can play any team at any venue in any stadium and have a chance to win the game. And that's the thing. The one thing I say about the Cardinals, their toughest road game so far up until this point was when they played Cleveland in Cleveland. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo's played some tough games on the road. They played in some tough places. They played in, I think they played in Kansas City. They blew out Kansas City when we thought Kansas City was still Kansas City. That's a good thing to put in context of when they played these teams. And then they pretty much should have beaten Tennessee, but they didn't. You know, if Josh Allen's cleats were just like a half-inch longer, we'd be talking about a different story. You know what I mean? But that's why I say when you just look at these teams from a bird's eye view, and I love Green Bay's defense, and that's what's not talked about enough. That's really, to me, what keeps them in that conversation for being a Super Bowl contender is that defense. They seem like a team that can win the road. It's just that on the offensive side, are they going to be able to do enough? Are they going to be able to do enough? Where when I look at Tampa Bay, I just look at both sides of the ball, and it gives me the least amount of questions because I can still look at LA, right? Still look at the Rams. And while we love Matt Stafford, right? And we think he's underrated, he's playing on a stage now that he's never had to play on before. You feel what I'm saying? It's one thing from doing the things that you're doing with your arm talent in Detroit. But listen, now he's on the stage. He's in LA. He's in Tinseltown, and he has no excuses on his performance. So the spotlight is on him now, to where before he was fighting for the spotlight in Detroit, trying to get light on him. Now he can't go. There's nowhere he can go where it can't be on him. And now you add OBJ to that. And it's like, dude, you got to do it now. Like so when you have to play with that pressure, that also could change some things. That's why I say the same thing about Kyler as well. I don't have those questions when I look at it from the Bucs. It's because who's on the Bucs. You see what I'm saying? And who's coaching the Bucs. Outside of who's on the field for them, because we don't even talk about JPP who has rings. You know what I mean? Obviously, you got Brady. But you look at Arians. I think he was the OC in 2008. When the Steelers won, when Santonio Holmes dragged the foot, Todd Bowles, it's this season. So when you look at that pedigree, because one thing that this year has shown you can be young and talented all you want. It's still football. Any given Sunday, you got to show up every Sunday and win. Or else the Bengals don't lose to the Jets. As simple as that. That shit don't happen. If talent won out all, Arizona doesn't lose to Green Bay 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So you got to have that blend of talent, discipline, game planning, and execution. And to me, when I look at that, I look at the Bucs as the best combination of all that. That's for me. I haven't seen the Bucs name come up one time in the chat. I'm fucking shocked. You keep writing up Tom Brady if you want to, people.
At least the Cowboys. At least some of them mentioned the Cowboys.
I will say this about the Cowboys. I don't put them in the same tier as the four teams we mentioned in NFC, but it's not by much. To me, it's not by much. Like I'm talking about like a hair. The reason why I have more of a question about them is because of the coach. I love their offensive coordinator. I love their defensive coordinator, but I just that coach is a big question mark for me, and I've been consistent with that. And it's also the Jerry Jones factor. Like, it's something about Jerry Jones teams where they'll always choke. And I'm not saying or guaranteeing that this Cowboys team will choke. All I'm saying is that's all they've done before in December and January. So until I see that trend change, I just can't put them in the same tier as those other teams. Like the Cardinals, I know that they're young and inexperienced, but at the same time, I have more confidence in that talent because I've been high on them. I like Cliff Kingsbury, and they have veterans on that team too. So that's the difference. Now, am I splitting hairs? I am. But Cowboys, even though the Cowboys aren't, to me, on the same tier as the other four, they are absolutely 1,000% contenders. They are a legit team. And Was it funny to watch them lose to the Broncos? Yeah, sure. But
Right.
the Cowboys, that doesn't change my outlook on the Cowboys as as what they can do in the playoffs. They are still a legit team that can make some noise in the playoffs if everything goes right. So
And every
they're
team during the season, Chucks, just to say they need that loss. So I want that. Like for me, Harlem Cowboy chime in and say, I see nobody wants to say the Cowboys. Hi Harlem.
What up, Harlem?
But I like every team at some point is going to have a loss like that. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
I'd much rather have seen Dallas had that loss in the playoffs to figure out they're not who they thought they were. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they got that wake up call early, right? And luckily for them, the rest of the division so far this year up to this point sucks ass. So they still have room and wiggle room to play with. Now this is a gut check for them to say, hey, we can't just show up and beat a team. Even if it's at home, even if we're double-digit favorites, you can't feel yourself on every Sunday. Think this because you lace them up, you put the uniform on with the shoulder pads, that you're going to go out there and get a W. It don't work like that.
Yep, correct.
You see what I'm saying? It doesn't work like that. Now, leading this in, if we get to our recap and then get to our preview, that could definitely be a part to play in this Sunday's game for the Eagles.
Yeah. All right, guys. Good first quarter.
Great first quarter.
So great first quarter. Thank you for everyone who responds. If you still have a say in the poll question, if you want to say, hey, agree, I think the Cardinals are the team to beat, or if you disagree, you think it's another team, definitely still comment in the chat. We appreciate your feedback. We're going to switch it over now. Second quarter of the show brought to you by Body Check Wellness. It's a line of products that promote wellness, balance, and recovery by using the full potential of hemp. They come in extracts, blends, gummies, and topicals. So use promo code A2D for 25% off your order at bodycheckwellness.com. Let's talk now, guys, about the Birds and their loss to the Chargers this past Sunday. It was a 27-24, correct? And it came down to a last-second field goal. Last-second field goal. And, if you remember what I said last week, if they committed to the run still, and they continued to mix things up on defense, this game would be close. But ultimately, the Chargers are the better team, and that's exactly how it played out. So, what is your first reaction, or your biggest takeaway from that game? Are you feeling positive? Did you like what you saw, or are you still more so highly questioned, and are you critical of this team, specifically any of the coaches? There's a lot of heat going toward Jonathan Gannon right now. So Jeff, what is your biggest takeaway from this game against the Chargers?
The biggest takeaway from this game was the fact that the strength of our team and the strength of our defense, was supposed to be getting after the quarterback, and the fact that Justin Herbert, and nothing against Justin Herbert, he's one of the up-and-coming quarterbacks in this league, and his quick delivery and his looseness in the pocket, he's tough to handle. But the fact that they even get a quarterback hit on the dude in the game for 4 quarters, he didn't even get knocked down. He didn't even get dirty, except for, I think, a slide or a low hit that they called a roughing the passer on. The fact that the Eagles are not finding the way to get after the quarterback is definitely concerning. The fact that they have gone 4 or 5 games without sacking the quarterback. The only game they were able to sack a quarterback was against the winless Detroit Lions. And I know there's a lot of heat on Jonathan Gannon, but the fact that Jonathan Gannon, he still, I think, brought about 20 or 30% on those plays. He brought different types of blitzes. They were able to control the Chargers' run game for the most part until the late in the second half. I don't put a lot of blame on it. I put the blame, a lot of those players, on execution and executing the game plan, because a coach can only do so much. And I'm not saying Jonathan Gannon has been perfect, but it's coming up time and time again, week after week, that it's shown that these players are not executing and not going out there and making plays when they need
it. I have a lot to say, but
you and me
go first. You go first, because I think all 3 of us are on the same page.
We are
in the minority, but go ahead. Yes. Go ahead.
My biggest takeaway from the game is I saw growth in the coaching staff and the defense. Didn't lead to results. It didn't lead to a W, but the philosophies are changing. You know what I mean? The philosophies are changing. The philosophies are now being designed from what do I want my defense to look like or what I want my offense to look like. It's changing to what puts us in the best position to win a game. And that's what both sides of the ball, I think, realized on Sunday. It wasn't enough to win the game because, like Chuck said, the Chargers are just a better, more talented team, more well-seasoned team, especially at the quarterback position and at the key positions on the defense. I hear this talk about the defensive ends and getting pressure. If you listen to, shout out to Jason Levant and Quentin Michael, they were running short plays. The defensive ends were getting pressure. You could easily negate that pressure from a defensive end coming from that position to where then you needed more across the forward, the actual four-line front. So Jonathan Gannon was blitzing, but hell, once again, I keep saying this. People forget. A lot of fans forget. The other team gets paid to negate what we try to do well, and they get the counteract. And the Chargers did a very good job of counteracting. The one gripe I will say about even with the defensive scheme, even with Gannon continuously blitzing and changing his scheme, we need to create more space or decrease space. We can't create more space. Decrease space that we give players like Keenan Allen. Like, I know Keenan Allen is not a burner, but he's going to chop me up with his feet. He's not going to beat me over the top. Or he's not the speed burner where he can beat me over the top, and I feel as if I can't recover if I'm Steven Nelson. I need to get up on him because that's those timing routes. Those are a lot what he did. And yeah, you can knock Justin Herbert off his spot, but that's how they beat us. And then ultimately, fourth down. How did the game flow? The 2 fourth down stops. Great momentum. The offense, I think it was after the second drive is when we really started running the ball. And as this missed opportunities. It's different. Like missed opportunities, some teams are young enough and good enough to win a game. Missed opportunities for us and this team and how young we are and where we're at, we still won't win the game. We'll lose the game in a closer fashion, which makes it a harder pill to swallow initially because you feel like it's a very winnable game, and this was. But I just don't think the team is ready there yet. And can I do my rant now or should I wait?
Let me get in on this before you do.
Okay.
I'll give it back to you, but
Okay.
I do want to touch back on the defense, but okay. I will go just because you guys mentioned it already. I'll go with a different route and say my biggest takeaway is the Eagles are finding an identity on offense. That's a huge thing, and it's an even bigger thing. The fact that the identity is running the damn ball. Not just with our running backs, but with a quarterback. I will be critical as I have to be with Hurts as a passer, but as a runner, the dude can freaking run, and he is talented in that regard, and he is a weapon in the run game. And I will give him credit for that. I will never ever not acknowledge that part of his game. But the fact that it got me worried. Seeing the first 2 possessions and we were pass happy, I was like, here we go. I knew it. I was like, I knew this was going to happen. But then the third possession, they went back under center, and they started running the ball again with Jordan Howard, and that set the tempo for the rest of the game. Thank God. So I love that they are finding an identity. Jalen Hurts, when operating under center play action the past 2 games, is 10 of 12. 10 of 12. Mm-hmm. He is efficient, and it doesn't matter that he never operated under center in college. It doesn't matter. The fact is, it shows that he is so efficient. He's a much better quarterback when he operates under center and uses play action. And then you connect that, you marry that with the running attack. It's going so well. So I love that, and I think that you need to keep doing that. You know, Sirianni did a good job. He married a lot of the concepts. Guys, how many times did I say one of the best things that I love about Kyle Shanahan's schemes and system is the fact that they marry the run and the pass game, where it looks like a run one play, or one play looks like a run, but then you have the same look, but now it's a pass play. Then a couple plays later, that when you marry those things together, it makes it even harder for defense to stop. And Sirianni did those kind of stuff. A lot of split zone flow, a lot of stuff where you have read option or you have RPOs running off of that split zone flow. So it's really, really awesome to see that stuff. The fact that now halfway through the season, they are finding their identity. I like that. I've been very critical of Sirianni, but if he keeps doing this, hats off to him. And I'm willing to be patient with a coach if he continues to show me how that he's learning. Now, when it comes to the defense, I am glad that all three of us have the same point of view on this, because I go online on social media, I go on Twitter, go on Facebook, and 90% or more of the fans that comment about the defense or complain about the defense, what is the first thing that comes out of their mouth? Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Gannon sucks. Jonathan Gannon needs to go. I am all for criticizing Jonathan Gannon. He is by no means perfect. He has done some things that have been really bad. The number one thing for me is I really need him to disguise stuff more. He talked about how he would like to disguise stuff, but we haven't seen that. It's very predictable pre-snap. So I need him to be better with that. And I also need him to know when to better be aggressive, play man, or play press and play off. He's got to have a better sense of when the right plays and the right times to do that are. So in no way is he perfect, and I am not absolving him of blame whatsoever. My issue, what's so annoying the past few weeks, is that everyone just wants to talk about Gannon and how it's all on him. You mentioned the completion percentage thing, right? And how they kept getting the ball out quick. In this zone defense, the players at the second and third levels, they're not squeezing, exchanging, or closing in on their zones quick enough. It's not. This isn't zone defense of 20, 30 years ago, guys, where you see defensive players just sitting in an area and waiting for something to happen. Zone defense in the league this year, it looks a lot like man. If you have a certain area of the field, you have to match the player that is going into that zone and cover them as if you have man coverage. And then when they are leaving your zone, you have to exchange and pass that zone off to the next player. That's how zone works in today's NFL. And they're not doing that. The reason why there's so much space is because these players are not executing their zones properly. They have to be tighter to their assignments. So they're not doing that. Is that on Gannon? No, that's on the players. They have to execute that better. They have to know where they're going with their zones and their keys. And right now they're just not. So I am not excusing Gannon of any fault, but when are we going to start looking at the players and saying, hey, this isn't enough? Like, you need a lot more talent. We've
been saying that for the whole year. I think coming into this season, it was very evident, Chux, and you so eloquently said about the defensive players. We've been saying that, like, on the offensive side of the ball, it's just lack of execution. On the defensive side of the ball, it's just a lack of talent at the second and third level. And then some may question the talent at the first level, but you just don't have it. One of the teams that exchanges so well and passes off so well is the Titans. Yeah. People don't think about that. The Titans, when they get into their zone scheme, they almost kind of have a sixth sense. Great pass by Sam Howell, who Howie Roseman's at the Pittsburgh and North Carolina game, and Sam Howell just threw like a 75-yard touchdown pass. Sam Howell, Kenny Pickett, I'm pretty sure, I think every GM in the league is there, or at least 30 of them, scouting players right now.
Am I the only one watching Thursday Night Football then?
No, I have it on another screen too. It's not eventful right now. But it's just, you just don't have that trade-off. And that's what I think Gannon is trying to lay that foundation. And I think that's when we talk about the philosophical differences and we're seeing that thought process. I can see it with Sirianni. I can see it with Gannon. Now, the one thing I will say, right, is there's been some on this platform that's killing the guy because he got paid. And that's Josh Sweat. I've heard TA say all week, Sweat ain't good, this and this, Barnett, get him out of here. Listen, I'm going to fucking tell you, okay? You talk about Sweat because he got fucking paid. We draft, who's more of a fucking failure? The first round pick we took until 2017, who's not going to see a second contract, or the overachiever fifth round pick that got paid? Boom. That's all I got to say. It ain't his fault. He ain't the one who jumped off sides 3rd and 6 to make it 3rd and 1 to keep the offense on the field. That wasn't him. He ain't the one sitting there. I can name as many boneheaded plays that Derek Barnett has had to cost us games, more than the 2 fucking plays that everybody wants to say that he made because he fell on the right spot. He could have had to tie his shoe in the Super Bowl. He'd have fell on the fucking fumble. Or the strip sack, that he had with what's up, Bryce? The strip sack that he had wasn't even the strip sack, the sack that he had against the Raiders, the lockup. Darby made that pick at the end of the game, baby. You feel what I'm saying? That was a big play, but listen, time and time again, time out. Barnett has been costing us games, and now we want to kill the kid who's playing a 1.5 leg, who has done more to this for this team than Derek Barnett has. And trust me, I truly believe if Derek Barnett or Josh Sweat was on this team in 2017 at the same time, I'm pretty sure outside of the first round pick, Josh Sweat would have definitely got some snaps in that Super Bowl, just because his work ethic, his work ethic. I'm sorry, and then also his motor and his skill set. Barnett hasn't done anything to. When we do this shit here as fans, we love a guy for winning the Super Bowl. That Super Bowl has cost us everything in every other sport and every opportunity, and we will be like that probably now for the next 5 to 10 years. And I will say this: you talk about the offensive philosophy. We only did that shit on start running the ball on Sunday because Hurts was missing throws. He didn't have Hurts being accurate, and we heard it. Listen, Chux put me onto this. Tape heads also inside the birds. I said Q&A with Quentin Michael, Jason Avant. Our wide receivers, we don't need any veteran wide receivers to show. Our wide receivers are open.
Yep.
Our tight ends are open.
Especially Davante.
He's just not seeing them. And did he do better? Did he play better Sunday? Yes, he did. Did he play good enough to win? No, he did not, obviously, because there were throws that he missed. And the wide receivers are out there. They are doing that. Why? I don't even know who the Chargers play this week, but they're still down a lot of players in the secondary. I best believe whoever they're going against, I'm gonna take I may look at their strongly. They're in DFS, the wide receivers on the other team. Strongly. Because not to take nothing away from Devontae Smith, but our guys are getting open. I haven't heard Quez Watkins' name get called in 7 weeks. 7 weeks, I haven't heard his name get called. Since the San Fran game.
He's getting open.
And that's what I'm saying. He's getting open. So this is why Howie has his ass in North Carolina right now. Because guess what? He's probably going to end up with 3 picks because this dude in Indy is sitting here saying, I'm going to miss my kid's birth so I can go play on Sunday. He wants us to get this first round pick. And he wants us to get that first round pick.
Yep.
Exactly. Thank you, Chrome. That also I think it was the 4th down play that he hit Goddard. If he just stays in there, doesn't throw it off his back foot, he steps on his front foot, rotates his hip, and let that ball go.
Goddard's wide open. That could have been a touchdown if Goddard. If Goddard catches that, he's able to catch that ball and make a defender miss. That's a touchdown.
That's a touchdown.
Worst case scenario, it's a big game.
Bro, it's just that part of it is frustrating because they're finding identity with the crutch.
Yeah.
They're finding identity almost with, okay, because he can't do this consistently, we need to do this. But what this shows you is they're looking for something better. They know that if they have to go this route with this kid, they'll go this route with this kid. But if they find something that can be better, you trust and believe one of these 3rd round picks or one of these 3 first round picks, or if it doesn't turn into a first for whatever reason, one of the first 3 picks is going to be on the quarterback. You can best believe that.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just being honest. I literally think they can probably get, if they have 3 picks in the top 15, top 16, that last pick probably a quarterback will be there that they like, or they can talk themselves into liking in drafting.
Yeah. So 2 things, and then I'll hand it off to you, Jeff. But can I just talk about that missed pass to Devontae in the end zone at the end of the second quarter before half? So Sirianni says that Hurts anticipated a blitz that never came. That's why he backpedaled. And I said this on Twitter, and I'm gonna say it on the show now, right now. So if that's the case, that the blitz never came,
right?
Hurts has to see that it's not coming. Like your post-snap awareness and processing is that bad where you can't stop backpedaling when you don't see a blitz coming. You have to keep backpedaling. If you don't see a blitz coming, stop and set your feet. So that's one. And then he has Devontae open on the break. Right when Devontae breaks to the outside, that ball has to be out. That has to be out. That's timing. That is a timing pattern. But for some reason, Hurts waits, and he waits, and then he lets it go. So he's late on another throw. How many times have we said he's late on a throw? And then the third thing, he throws that thing with no placement or touch.
He throws it to throw it, bro.
There's no way Devontae can make a play on that ball. There's no touch on it where he can go up and get it. And it's not even at a place where Devontae has an advantageous window to get it.
Boy.
That play was the biggest missed opportunity of the game. Because you go up another touchdown in that game, the game's different. Second half is totally different. Big missed opportunity. He played well throughout the second half. He made some really good passes. So I will give him credit for that. He made several good passes. The thing is, it's hard for me to, in a whole package, seeing it on a macro point of view, to focus on the good when there's still been so much bad. Because we're not trying to look at a quarterback to win us a few games. We're trying to look for a quarterback that can be our franchise for the next several years. And he hasn't done enough to prove that he's that quarterback.
Yep.
My second point, I want to add on, Pete, your comment about Sweat and how certain people on this platform have some type of agenda toward Josh Sweat. I don't know what it is. He was a fourth or fifth round pick, I think, a fourth round pick.
I think fourth or fifth.
And right off the bat, because it's a fourth round pick, people think he has no chance of being good. Me and you, Pete, we were on him years before this breakout. I was on him the second he got drafted. I said this guy's ceiling is high. You can go back and look up old Birds of a Feather shows too, with me, Chrome, and Paulie on this platform. And I said it, Josh Sweat's ceiling is high. And I've said it numerous times since he got drafted that his ceiling is higher than Barnett. He can be a better pass rusher than Barnett. But I don't know what it is. People don't want to give him credit. I don't know why. Whenever he does something good, it's crickets. No one says anything. No one says anything good about, oh, look, Josh Sweat's making plays, blah, blah, blah. But then when he has a bad game, he doesn't get a sack or anything against the Chargers. It's, look, he sucks. He sucks. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's an agenda against him or whatnot, but can we at least give him credit? I mean, he is playing well. He's playing well. That's the truth. That's the truth. If he wasn't playing well, he wouldn't have gotten a contract. He wouldn't have. So I don't know why this narrative of, oh, he sucks is still a thing here. I don't know why, but I think Josh Sweat is one of the last people to be concerned about on this defense. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, on that note, I totally agree with you. Look, and then it was a guy on this defensive front with Fletcher Cox who we thought at the trade deadline might not have even been here. So if it wasn't for his contract and Howie overpaying him and us continuing to pushing it down the line, Fletcher Cox is not a Philadelphia Eagle at this point in time. So I'll say I understand he's a fan favorite. He's contributed behind me. And he's contributed throughout his career, but the NFL is what have you done for me now? And Fletcher Cox, for a guy that's supposed to be an all-pro, getting a single covered along the offensive line, single block, that he can't bulldoze through a guy. Obviously, the dude's washed up. The dude needs to be one to go. He's one that needs to deserves the criticism. And the fact that the game, they do the pre-game entrances. He was the last one out of the building or last one out of the tunnel, and the entire crowd cheered for him. This is a guy that has not produced for this defense for the last year and a half now, and we're going to cheer for him. But like you said, we're going to criticize the one dude who's been productive on this defensive front with Josh Sweat. I understand now
And
he got
Hunter.
his I understand he got his contract, and you want him to live up to that contract. But after 3-4 weeks of getting signed, and you're going to complain about him? Not the time yet. Let's talk in a year if he's not being productive. Then we can start talking and maybe criticizing his play a little bit more. But there's plenty of our guys that need to be criticized before him. And to Pete's point about the whole quarterback thing in the draft, and I get what you're saying, because look, we're a quarterback factory, but I seriously hope we don't use
a successful one.
Yeah, not a successful one. And that's the thing. Why reach for a quarterback in the first round just because it's the marquee position and hopefully you hit on someone that can be your franchise quarterback? I'd rather use those 3 picks to build around weaknesses that we have on this team, mainly the defense. There was an article, I forget who I saw. The Eagles have not used high first-round picks on this defense since like 2016, and it's starting to show. You're seeing that they're trying to build through free agency and later parts of the draft, and we're bitching and complaining that they're not being productive, and we want to blame Jonathan Gannon for it when he's not like we brought up earlier, he's not the one that fully to blame. The amount of talent that the organization and the front office has given him is what's to blame for the lack of success on the defense side of football. So I understand Jalen Hurts, and I agree with everyone that he is not the guy at this point in time, but with a guy on a rookie contract yet and in a quarterback class right now that you have not really seen any bona fide guaranteed guy in the top end of this draft right now, I don't want to use one of those first round picks. I want to build this defense, build this offensive line, because we're getting older there as well. And then after a year, Jalen Hurts is still not the guy, then maybe look at quarterback or free agency or something along those lines. But I especially for how deep this draft is with certain positions on the defense side of the football, you have to go there. You have to go there.
I will say this, as I'm watching both the Thursday night football game between the Ravens and the Dolphins and North Carolina versus Pitt. Listen, Kenny Pickett, boy, and Kenny Pickett is a name that this fan base will fall in love with. I can see the shirts now. You know what I mean? My man stood in there, took a blitz right up the middle, threw a strike, 40 yards on the money to somebody for a touchdown. You know how he's already thinking in his head, and I don't want to. I agree with you, Jeff. I don't want to overextend ourselves in our draft resources, but when I say that this defense is away, we're probably talking about a Kyle Hamilton, who's a legit safety.
Yep.
Oh, and that's the other thing. Kenny Pickett's 25 years old. He's a 4-year starter, so I don't think he not necessarily can say he'll definitely be at first. He could be available in the second round, but if you can get away with having Hurts and Pickett on the same and then just have them battle it out, but you're a Kyle Hamilton away from the safety position. And they have so many young corners. They keep throwing darts at the young corners that where they think one of them is going to hit opposite side of whoever to be a serviceable starter. And then they're just a stud linebacker. If they can get, I forget the kid's name, the dude from Alabama, the linebacker. I think it's Christian. I want to say Christian Harris. But I'm not.
I don't watch college, so
but they're a linebacker and a safety away, possibly a D end away from making this serviceable. I mean, D tackle. And the thing is, I think it was the restructure of Cox's contract that made him kind of untradeable. Because I don't think this is the original. What he has now isn't the original structure of his contract.
He's restructured at least 2 or 3 times over the last couple of years. They keep on pushing this money down the road. So if someone takes over that contract, this contract, even though I think he only has like 3 years left on his deal, is like technically the money's like for 5 or 6 years or something. It's something along those lines. But and again, this is all under the assumption that we're thinking that at least our pick is going to be a top 15 pick at this point, which might not be the case. Right now, wherever we're at, and we still have 3 and 6. Yeah, right now puts us probably I forget where we're at, like 12 or 13. But we still have to face the Giants twice. We have Washington football team twice. We have the New York Jets in a couple of weeks. We have the Saints who played well, but we don't know who's going to be their quarterback. So we have a lot of opportunity to win football games and screw our draft position. We might be drafting at the tail end, middle, beginning, end of the first half.
I think I can definitely see in this next 3 to 6 games where these bitches run off 3 in a row.
Yeah,
I can see
definitely happen.
They can run off a bunch of wins. I'm telling you, we could end up finishing close to 500. Because the second half of the schedule is
as long as the Dolphins pick is a top 5 pick, I'm good.
Yeah,
And they're probably
Dolphins
like
need to
2 or 3 more losses away from locking that shit in.
Yeah. Question here. I don't, Pete, because I don't know how much college you follow. Again, I don't watch college football until the draft, so I don't have much opinion on anything. And any opinion I do have is about some of the top running backs. So that's it. That's all I know. So this is out of my. I can't answer this, but Matt Walsh does ask if you had to choose between drafting either Derek Stingley, the corner, or Kyle Hamilton, the safety, who would you select and why?
I'm probably going Hamilton. Hamilton reminds me of Minka Fitzpatrick, but maybe better. Where he's just, you can utilize him in so many different ways. And not to take anything away from Stingley, but I mean, if it's between those two players, I'm taking Hamilton before I take Stingley. For me personally.
I've seen on mock drafts that Hamilton is like a top 3-4 pick.
Yeah.
Like he's
like top 1, or he's like right behind Thibodeau overall. Me.
How long have I been screaming for them to draft a safety?
Mm-hmm. I can see them drafting a safety before they draft a high value corner.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I'm still not over the fact that we skipped out on Chin for Jalen Hurts. So if Hamilton is a possibility and he's as good as everyone says he is, I will be very, very happy. Very happy. Yeah. Gold D says Hamilton over Stingley.
Yeah.
So, Chrome, who's been commenting here and there, does say that he's got to hop off. He's doing a great job. Keep up the amazing work. Love
Thanks,
you,
Chrome. Thanks, brother.
Love you, Chrome. Love you. And my apologies to those who were listening last week. His mom did not pass. It was a misunderstanding. He had a post, and myself and a lot of people thought that she had passed, but she didn't. Thank God, she's still with us. So, but still, give your prayers out to him and his family.
Yes, family needs it.
Yeah, they need the prayers. Let's see. Galdi says, "Don't ever disrespect Hamilton by saying that he reminds you of Minka. He's a Taylor level prospect, my friend." Now,
I didn't want to shoot that high, Goldie.
So when you say Taylor, like
he's talking about Sean Taylor.
Is he a strong safety type, like in the box, or is he a free safety, like on the back end,
just
or is he both?
Safety.
Because if he is being considered to be an early, like a top 5 pick, he better be both. He better be able to play both. Because if you're taking a safety that early, he better be able to do everything. Everything.
Imagine if Jamal Adams could cover.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like he's just the safety. He's just put that bitch out there in center field.
Good.
And you good.
That's what I want. And hey, I might be biased because I love safety play. I love safeties who can do everything. Maybe it's because we're the fan base that loves Brian Dawkins, and Brian Dawkins did everything. So I have that type of mindset when I see safety, an elite safety does everything. So if Kyle Hamilton is that great, I might start pounding the table for him as our first pick. But we'll see when the time comes. I'm sure the draft is going to be fun if we have those 3 first-round picks. That wraps it up for the second quarter, guys. We've reached the halftime of the show.
Wow.
Thank you for those. If you have any guys, listeners, if you're still with us, if you have any other comments or input when it comes to the Eagles and their loss to the Chargers this past week, or you want to make some predictions, definitely drop it in the chat. We will get to your comments. But let's get on to the next topic. The third quarter, second half is here and is brought to you by Dr. Paul Vidal of Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. 2 locations, Burlington and Cherry Hill. Make them yours, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. First half of the season, surprises and disappointments. All right. That's just as clear-cut as it gets. Pick one, mention it. Who are some of your biggest surprises and disappointments? Pete, kick us off.
Biggest surprise.
One is obvious.
And I would have to say the Bengals, man.
But
I mean, you can say the Cardinals, but for me, it's the Bengals. And it's really we have rarely ever seen going into the draft, we kept saying Penny Sewell over Chase, Penny Sewell over Chase, Penny Sewell over Chase. You take that the left tackle, put in there, protect your young QB. And that's kind of what Burrow was doing at the same time. And then they drafted Chase. You kind of rarely see that same connection that a college QB and a wide receiver at an elite level at a Power 5 school had that same type of connection in the league. So I knew the Bengals. I probably had the Bengals around 9 or 10 wins, and they ultimately could still end up being there. But what they've shown me through this first half and who they beat in the manner that they've beaten them, and also they're still young and the losses that they had, that shows as well. I'm pleasantly surprised by the Bengals myself. Disappointment, I probably would have to say San Fran. I wouldn't think so. I would never would have thought San Fran would be at the bottom of the division.
I hate you.
You let me go first.
I know.
And I literally just came with that on the fly. But no, San Fran is a disappointment to me because of the levels that they've reached playing the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And the biggest, I can't really put a finger on it as to why. And the thing is, the Trey Lance move now is puzzling me. Like it's puzzling me because it's obvious and it's evident that you needed more on defense, especially at the corner position. You haven't really invested into it at all. Whether it's draft capital, free agent, we really don't have any draft capital. So it's kind of like they did a half in, half out win now type of deal versus what LA did. You know what I mean? To where I think that if the roles is reversed, and if I'm John Lynch, I'd have been pounding the table to get OBJ to come to San Fran. Pounding the table, like, listen, I don't care. We got a chance. We may not be in the basement with you, and to sell him on the fact of him and Shanahan's offense and being that piece and getting the targets that he wants with him and Debo. You know what I mean? It's just, and Kittle. It's just a different vibe. I don't know. I'm worried now with San Fran because I don't know what direction they are going in. If that makes sense. I don't know how they fix this shit. And it's not the coach, because I'm a believer in the coach. I like Lynch as a GM, but I don't know if they had the pieces, because obviously it shows you they don't believe in Jimmy G. Because look at what they did to go get Trey Lance. You see what I'm saying? So, like, it's a head scratcher for me over there.
Here's what I'll say, and it might surprise you. All right, it might surprise you because you say that, you know, what you're talking about, like, you don't know the direction they're going in, going forward, and that's an absolute fair criticism. And I'm going to surprise you though, because you say it's not the coach and it's not the GM. I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to say a lot of it has to do with the coach. And
wow.
You guys know me. Mm-hmm. Kyle Shanahan is my favorite coach in the NFL. But I've been very, very disappointed in him this season.
Okay.
Very disappointed. And, you know, I was high on the Niners in large part because of him. But he's made some very questionable decisions in terms of roster and personnel. And his offense does not look nearly as creative as it has been. It looks very stagnant and predictable. I don't know what's going on with him, but it's like I still defend his choice and the team's choice to go up and get Lance. I see the vision.
Okay.
I see it, and I see what they want to do. And part of the reason why I was so high on them this year is because I believed that Lance was going to be a big part of that offense, even as just, you know, one of those like a weapon as a runner, you know. And I thought they were going to use two QBs very well. Mm-hmm. And we saw it in the preseason, but we haven't seen it again in the regular season. I think that is a big question mark. Like, why do you have a Trey Lance who, yes, he needs some work. He needs time and development. But why are you still not using his talents, his running ability, and his arm to your advantage? Like, why? What's keeping you from using him? You've clearly designed plays in the playbook. It's there. We've seen it in the preseason, and I'm pretty sure that's the tip of the iceberg. So why haven't you been using him? They picked him because of the long term. They're seeing long term. And I think Kyle Shanahan knows he has long-term security, so he's able to go out and get him. He's like, I'm not getting fired after this season, so I'm going to go get him because I can. And that's perfectly fine. But now you're in this tough situation where if you're not using him, it hampers your team for this year. A lot of the defensive players there's a lot of things on defense, and I think that the loss of Robert Saleh, and I hate saying this because we know, like us in Philly, we love D'Amico Ryans as a player, but so far he's struggled as a coach. He really has.
He looked great against us.
Yeah, he did. But well, that's not saying much, but he hasn't been able to fill the shoes of Saleh so far. I hope he does get better, but that's another issue. And I talked about the questionable decisions when it comes to personnel and roster. Can I just say that, like, the fact that it's taken this long for Ayuk to finally find a groove is inexcusable. To me, he should have gotten more targets earlier on in the year. I don't care what doghouse. This thing about players getting in Kyle Shanahan's doghouse and having to take forever to get out of that doghouse it's getting old and stale. I get it that it happened with Pettis, and Pettis showed that he's no one. He can't cut it. But you clearly have a guy that you believed in Ayuk. You wanted to take him in the middle of the first round, and you got him. You took him in the late, at the end of the first round. You trade up to get him at the end of the first round. He had a really good rookie season, but then to start out the season, you put him in your doghouse, and you don't design plays for him. As a pure wide receiver, he's just as good, if not better, as a pure wide receiver as Deebo Samuel. You're starting to see it. If you watch their games, Ayuk can freaking play. He can play. Those two wide receivers have a really good future together as an amazing 1-2 punch, Deebo and Ayuk. With the fact that it's taken half the season to get him going is inexcusable. And you're using I like Elijah Mitchell. I think Elijah Mitchell is a good running back, kind of similar to Raheem Mostert in the fact that his skill set fits this system really well because he's one cut, he has good burst, straight line speed, no nonsense. He won't dance around a lot, and he sees the hole and he goes. And I get it, and he executes the offense very well. The thing is, you traded up in the third round to get Trey Sermon, and he's a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
Why? Kyle Shanahan has been known to rotate running backs. Remember when he was in Atlanta? He used Freeman and Coleman as a 1-2 punch.
Yep. I
do not understand why he's really reluctant right now to use Mitchell and Sermon as a 1-2 punch. There are things that Mitchell does not do well. A lot of this stuff is inside zone, running between the tackles. He's going on the outside, but inside there's still some questionable stuff with him. You know who is good at inside zone? Trey Sermon. He's good at running between the tackles. Why is he a healthy scratch? I don't get it. I don't know if there's something going on behind the scenes, but you cannot unconvince me to the fact that Trey Sermon is a better running back than Elijah Mitchell. For some reason, he's a healthy scratch. I don't know. Is it possible that they see something, know something that we don't? It's absolutely possible. But until I know what that thing is, I'm going to question that decision to not play Sermon. And that's why you're seeing them struggle. They use a third-round pick on Sermon, and they're not using him. I don't get it. And that all that I mentioned is contributing to their struggles. Again, they've also been bit with injuries for a second straight year, had some really bad injuries. So that's the Niners are absolutely, in my book, the biggest disappointment to me. I think that another good answer would have been the Chiefs. We talked about them last year. We touched on it. That's an easy answer. But the 49ers are also a huge disappointment. So, Jeff.
Well, you just stole my disappointment. Thanks.
Damn.
Screw it. I'll still use them. They're my disappointment and my surprise. I'll use the double whammy for the Kansas City Chiefs. Look,
all of us are on the same page. Like, we're agreeing way too much right now.
We are. Look, Kansas City Chiefs, they were a perennial Super Bowl contender the last few years, and the fact that they are 5-4, tied for last place in the AFC West with the Denver Broncos, who we faced this week, who might be getting a bit, who could possibly move up in the standings with a win over us. And the fact that Patrick Mahomes is playing the way he is, having the most interceptions, I think, or on pace for the most interceptions in a season that he has had any season in his career. And we brought up the issues last week. A lot of it's whether it's Andy, Mahomes, the team they have, if it's just the NFL figuring things out for them. But they definitely need to prove themselves over the next 5 weeks. 4 of their next 5 games are against divisional opponents, and their other 5th game is against the Dallas Cowboys. So if they really want to prove to the rest of the NFL that they are still atop of the AFC and can be considered one of the top in the NFL as a Super Bowl contender, we need to see how they play over the next 4 to 5 weeks, because this stretch of games is going to make or break their season, whether they're possibly miss the playoffs. Who would have thought? They were my Super Bowl pick to win the whole thing. I had them and the Buccaneers as a Super Bowl rematch with the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. So whether the Super Bowl losing curse is a thing or not, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're showing that possibly that it's a legit thing the way they're playing this season.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. There's nothing I can add more to that. And I thought about it. It's once Andy gets on that other half of closer to 10 years, that's when you start to see these inconsistencies. I mean, they literally lucked into a win last Sunday. If they're playing,
because Aaron Rodgers. Yep.
If Jalen Hurts is the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers last Sunday, the Green Bay Packers win that game.
Yeah.
The Green Bay Packers win that game, and it's just. I don't know. It's there's nothing you could put. There's nothing you could put your finger on. I mean, it's just the defense, but this is the same defense that 2 years ago won in the Super Bowl, and it was serviceable. They've always kind of been bad. They never had like a shutdown or top 10 defense. They were just kind of like manageable. And now it's kind of same. But if you think about it, history has a way of repeating itself, right? Steve Spagnuolo won the first Super Bowl with the Giants, got the head coaching job in St. Louis, and his defense was never the same.
Yep.
Right. So he took a long break, extended break from the league, right? Got into a whole commentary, broadcast, and all that shit. Came back. His style of defense was successful. Now it's 3 or 4 years later. And yes, he doesn't have the talent, but they're trying to get the talent. And this is not, they're able to figure it out. Is it getting better? Yes, you plug some holes. They're not giving up 40 points a game now anymore. But at the same time, that mean, like you said, that whole division is 5-4. If I'm not mistaken, the whole division is 5-4. So I believe I'm not mistaken, right? Because
I think something like
that. Yeah, but the head-to-head, I think the Chargers are in first because they have the head-to-head with the Chiefs.
Chargers and Raiders are 5-3. They both had their bye weeks already. So the Chiefs and the Broncos are 5-4. But the Chiefs play the Raiders this Monday, I think, against the Raiders on Monday Night Football. Yeah.
Then the Chargers have the head-to-head matchup win over the Raiders on that Monday night game. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now the standings is technically the Chargers in first, the Raiders in second, Chiefs third, and the Broncos fourth, technically.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I mean, it truly is shocking. I don't know. Like, could you say? I'm trying to think of another. Go with your question, Chuck. So I'm trying to think of a question I could throw out there or a situation.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a surprise are the Cowboys? Are they this good?
For me, 1 being like least surprised, or
1 being least surprised, 10 being shocked.
I'll probably say a 4. I'm shocked by the defense.
I think I'm around there. Yeah, I'm
not shocked by the offense. I'm not. Mm-hmm. If anybody really draws it down and looks at it, the Cowboys have done an excellent job at drafting. They spend very minimal in free agency. They haven't landed a big name free agent. That's how they used to build their teams. That wasn't successful. So they went back to the drawing board and they started drafting very, very well. And they really took this advantage of just drafting BPA. Yes, John, he is at the game.
Isn't every at the game?
Yeah.
But you know about how he take pick. I mean, pick if you watch it, John, pick it out there throwing that thing, boy. I said it earlier. I think he's a lesser known Joe Burrow, and he just had a play at the end of the first half where he stepped up in the pocket, didn't go out and he didn't break for a run. He and this is what me and Chux likes, and Jeff too. He stepped up in the pocket and he ran along the line of scrimmage, still eyes downfield. And he's throwing the small windows already in college. Remember, he's playing for Pitt. It's not like he has world beaters on the outside. You feel what I'm saying? So he's used to already throwing the small windows and anticipation throws. And if we just had one anticipation throw on Sunday, we win that game against the Chargers. It was clearly obvious. My man said he was backpedaling from a blitz that never came. I cannot believe every press game, every presser is going to give you something golden. He hasn't failed me once. He has not failed me once. Why would you say that out loud? Oh my God.
Oh, that's true.
How like I'm from jail, like, really? That's where you coming from? Mr. Wing said Pickett is old. So was Carson. Pickett is older than Carson, but Carson was old. And you get a lot of that bullshit out of your system, bro. You get a lot of that young shit out of your system. You know what I mean?
I have no opinion. I haven't studied any of these quarterbacks.
He's a better passer, but he's 25 years old playing against guys that are 21, 22, 23. So I get that point of it. But at the same time, is he 24? But at the same time, it's like, what other choice do you have? Like me, Jeff, and Chux are saying, like, I'm not using my first pick on him. I'm not using my second pick on him either in the first round. That third pick, though, depending on how the board shakes out, and maybe something that you can go. If we can go, and Bryce, I don't know if he's still with us. Bryce was talking about this earlier. If we can go Hamilton, Marvin McNeil, that's your Fletcher Cox replacement right there.
Yep. The
kid from Texas A&M, the D-line. You know what I mean? Whatever choice, drafted three defense. If they draft all three defensive players, they may be. I don't know. They may be looking for a running back after this point. I mean, I think Dominic Giovinazzo. I can't.
Oh yeah. Where's yeah.
Giovinazzo says.
I wanted to get back to this. Yeah.
They should.
They have to.
If they want to win games, they will. If he wants his offense to look as his best, and with this team and give this team and how it's currently constructed the best chance to win games, yes.
Yeah.
Continue to run the ball.
Run, booby, run. Okay.
Did they activate him off IR, or he has one more week?
Yeah, he has one more game.
Okay.
When he comes back, run, booby, run. Run.
He may be running the opposite way of Philly.
Yep.
I said it weeks ago. If they're not going to use him, they'll freaking trade him, because he will be a star on another team that wants to use him. He will be a star. I guarantee you. He goes to a team that wants to use him, he will be a star. So if Philly, you're not going to use him, then trade him. Trade him in the offseason. I'd rather see my son get touches and be appreciated and used so that his talent can show. I'm just saying. And I will still be wearing his shirts when I can promise you that. All right. Any other surprises? I do want to say that a very good surprise for me player wise, and not because I never thought he was good. It's more so that it's taken this long for a team to use him this way. Is Cordero Patterson. I mean, We're talking about someone who has been in the league for so long because he's an athletic freak.
Yep.
He's 6'2", 230, rocked up, can move like anything, can play running back, can play wide receiver, and it's taken this long for a team to use him like that, like a hybrid. Like, come on. But I'm glad that he's surprised. It sucks it's taking this long, but I'm glad that he is getting this play, because he should have been used by like this in this manner for long time ago. But he's good. He's a good weapon that I said it, I think, this past offseason. Hey, I would have no problem signing him. But we didn't go that route. But I'm glad for Cordero Patterson. He's finally getting production, getting used in Atlanta. And I don't know, is he contracted?
Just imagine it. If he was here in Philly, there would have been a certain segment of the fan base wanting to play. Hold on one second.
Robert.
Some
Okay.
weird. He might have been looking something up in a video or a pop-up ad was playing or something. Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
The window I have, the Pitt and NC game refreshed, and I had to mute it again. But no, if he was playing in Philly, chances are people want. By this point, why bring Miles back? Just trade him now. Hand the guy.
Well,
Because Patterson looks for contact because he's just that big. He's just that size.
Exactly.
But knowing this fan base, a certain segment of this fan base, that's probably what would happen.
Oh yeah, a certain segment of this fan base have wanted Jordan Howard to be the starter since last year. Yeah. It is what it is. But still, I'm very happy for Patterson. Any of you guys got any surprises, good or bad, that you want to touch on?
Not so much surprising, but the fact that Cooper Kupp is in the race for Offensive Player of the Year and possibly MVP. Yeah. The fact that this dude is on pace to lead the NFL with the trifecta of receptions, yards, and touchdowns in a season. So that's pretty impressive. Nothing against Cooper Kupp, but everyone, whenever you talk about the number one wide receivers in the league, you're always talking about the DeAndre Hopkins and these dudes. Cooper Kupp doesn't get the respect in the preseason rankings or the preseason speculation. Right. Now that he has a quarterback with Matthew Stafford that he's able to actually throw him the football, you see what this kid can do.
I'm still not going to give him any respect because he's benefiting the shit out of Sean McVay. And now his job just got easier because he got OBJ out there. His job just got easier. I mean, and I don't think of Cooper Kupp lining up against a Jalen Ramsey and him being able to beat Jalen Ramsey. That shit's not going down.
Yeah, on talent, based on talent alone, I don't think Cooper Kupp is an elite talent. No, but I think he is. He's
a better version to me of Jordy Nelson. And he can do more than Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson was good, though. You're going to say better version with Jordy?
I'm talking about just the more, so right now, a more consistent version with the
more hands. Of a number two.
I think Jordy was more talented on the outside, but Jordy would have those drops. We don't see that with Cooper.
Okay, all right.
We don't see that with Cooper. Like Cooper, he does his if his hands is hitting it, chances out of the time 9-10 out of 10, he's catching that ball.
Yeah. Not Jordy. Kupp has got some sure hands. That's absolutely true. Absolutely.
So John Malma says trade Hurts for a second-round pick, then go defense, Pickett, defense. Jahan Dotson is not making it to the second round.
Hell no.
No.
Right now, he's like a top 10 pick in some people's eyes.
Nah, I mean, would I? Yes. Would I love to? Yes. But I don't see it.
And why would we invest in our wide receiver? We just drafted a wide receiver last year. We failed with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and the abundance of wide receivers we drafted in the later rounds. So if the Eagles drafted another high wide receiver, then this city would be up in flames and rioting. The fact that we're not addressing the defensive side of the football.
Great point. And to add on to that, I wouldn't want to draft a wide receiver. If you want to improve that position, I'd go out and get one of the free agents. You see this wide receiver, this free agent wide receiver class?
Go get me Chris Godwin, please.
Right?
You see this free agent wide receiver class?
Go sign
a free agent. I don't care if it's for a lot of money. Next year, I believe
you're going to have it. You're going to have it,
right? We have
it.
If you want to upgrade a wide receiver, go sign one of the free agents. Tony.
Yep. Yes, you need a different body type than what you have now.
Godwin would be my top choice, but if we don't get him, there are still plenty others that I would gladly have. So yes, I agree, Jeff. I don't think we should draft a wide receiver early. Use them on either a quarterback or just bolster that defense.
Yep.
Bolster that defense. Yep. All right, gentlemen, that's our third quarter. We're 3/4 of the way down. We've now reached what we call garbage time for the Eagles, because now we're getting blown out and the score is out of reach. And now it's time when we pad the stats with garbage time scores for all you fantasy junkheads. I'm just kidding. Our fourth quarter is sponsored by Gleason's Bar, located at 6700 Mill Creek Ave in Levittown, PA. How far is that from you, Jeff? Because you're the one that lives out in PA.
Levittown, that's near Philly, so it's a little bit away from me.
A little bit away for you.
About 45 minutes.
Where are you in PA?
I'm Allentown, home of former Eagles training camp, Lehigh Valley area. So,
I used to go out there. We used to go to Dorney Park out there.
yeah, Dorney Park's only like 10 minutes down the road from me.
Lucky. They're better. That Dorney Park is better than Six Flags. Use promo code A2D for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, take out, or online. Gleason'sBarnSteaks.com is the website. All right. Our last topic of the night before we get into No Huddle, guys. Predictions. And this can be anything. You guys tell me what type of predictions you want to do. You want to do playoff predictions? You want to do Super Bowl predictions? You want to do award predictions? Anything. Bold takes? Anything. You tell me what you want to do, and we'll all predict and give our take on the rest of the season, second half of the season, and we'll see how wrong all of us are by the end of the year. But go ahead. Either one of you. Start it off.
I don't know. Well, I'll keep it a little bit Eagles related. Now that we're halfway through the season and we got a little bit of look of what Jalen Hurts has been able to do and Sirianni and this team, has your prediction? I can't remember what you guys' record prediction was, but have you thought about changing that record prediction at all? Do you think they're a playoff team? Me personally, I think I had them like 8-9, 9-8, which might be a little bit too high in my opinion at this point. But like we brought up earlier, they could rattle off a couple of wins. Who knows if Dallas has their typical second half slump? We might be in contention for a playoff spot. Who knows? But I think this team right now, they haven't shown me that they're ready to take that next step to be a playoff team. And my bold prediction, I still feel they're probably even less than that, probably about 6-7 win football team.
All right, so let's do this then. Let's do this exercise. We're gonna do. Okay, let's go week by week, and usually this is a really dangerous exercise to do because
I had them like 13-3 originally.
But let's do it anyway, just for shits and giggles. All right. Well, I'll read off the rest of the remaining schedule. You guys keep track of wins and losses for the team going forward, and we'll compare. We'll see what each of us thinks. So you've got upcoming. We got the Broncos. I've got that as a loss.
I have that as a loss too. They have a chance. The fact that the offensive line for the Broncos is, I think they're possibly going to be starting with 3 backups this week. But as we've seen this year so far with this Eagles team, injuries for opponent mean nothing for this football team. So, and the fact that they have to go on the road, the Mile High, difficult place to play, I have them losing this game as well.
Win.
You've got win. I don't know. I got lost because
I just think it's a trap game for the Broncos after what they did last week.
It could
against Dallas. What Jeff said about the injuries and how I think that we match up with their wide receivers because they're bigger, more physical. I think our corners like that. And but with that being said,
Jared Judy can shake you.
He can. But with that being said, I think if we may be all in agreement or not, if you agree, this may be overall the toughest defense that Jalen Hurts is going to play so far through 10 games. And you've seen what it just did to Dak. I'm saying win because more of Denver losing the game than more than us winning it.
Gotcha. Okay.
If that makes sense.
I can see that because of letdown that, the big win against the Cowboys. I have lost because I just did a film breakdown video, which will be released on A2D's platforms tomorrow. I did a film breakdown video on their rookie running back Javonte Williams. And let me tell you guys, this guy's going to run over our defense.
Don't say that.
He's going to run this guy has the contact balance and tackle breaking ability of a Nick Chubb. And I'm just telling you, be ready for it. We're going to see a lot of missed tackles on Javonte Williams on Sunday. I'm just giving you a heads up. He's going to break a lot of tackles. He's going to run all over our defense. I have it as a loss. The following week, New Orleans. That's at home.
Here, right?
That's at home. I've got to win because I hate the New Orleans Saints. I've got to win.
They're not beating them bitches 2 years in a row. You think Sean Payton don't have that shit circled on
I
his
don't give a
schedule?
fuck. I hate the Saints. I'm going.
I mean,
with
me too. The Saints to me are the Yankees. I hate the Yankees, but I would love to play for them if I had the chance. And that's how I feel about the Saints in football. Like I can't stand to watch them because their brotherhood, they're so tight that you want to be there. You know what I mean? Like you can see why they are the way that they are. You know what I mean? I can't see them losing. They want Hurts. They want, and what Jeff knows what this is. They want to give Hurts a receipt. They want to give Hurts a receipt. Huh?
Who's the Saints quarterback?
Hey, didn't Steven play pretty good last week? And Taysom Hill, they're revamp or he's getting healthy.
Yeah, I mean Simeon. If they play their wide receivers the same, if they give their cushion to the wide receivers that they gave in the Chargers game, Simeon can make those throws. You know what I mean? He's decent, but it's more on that defense has receipts waiting for Jalen Hurts.
And they got Mark Ingram back.
He's not the same as he once was, but
yeah, I know you're not thinking logically. I understand.
Yeah, I don't see it. I think it's a win. I could be wrong. I'm not saying it's absolutely definite. I just think it's a win. I think the Saints are a little overrated. Just objectively speaking, I think they're a little overrated. And as much as I don't like Jameis, he was playing fairly well for them at times. And I think there is a drop off. I mean, you're talking about Taysom Hill. Stop it. Simeon is decent as a decent backup, but he's nothing I'm going to be overly worried about. And I think that playing at the link, I think that the Eagles can win a close one again against the Saints. After them, and by the way, that will be the first game back for Miles Sanders. So
we hope.
Yep, we hope. I think
I won't use him.
If it's not that game, it's definitely
if he's healthy and they do a healthy scratch with him, I
swear to God, don't get me started on that. I swear to God. Week 12, the week after, we've got for the first time in the year the New York Giants, our number one rival. And I say
here or there.
It's there in New York.
It's the Michael Strahan retirement game.
Oh yeah,
we are winning that game.
That's a loss.
We own MetLife. We own the Meadowlands. We are winning that game.
Nope.
I have the Eagles winning that game.
What do you have? What do you think?
I think there's things that are bigger than that. Like I mean, I could see us winning the Saints game or losing that game, or I could see us losing both.
You got one another. Okay, Jeff, what did you say?
I have the Eagles winning that game.
We are winning against the Giants.
Okay,
and then we stay in the Meadowlands because we own the Meadowlands, and the following week we played the Jets. We are winning that game too.
Winning that game.
Then maybe my survivor pick that week.
All right, so we have, in my books, we have 3 straight wins to finish off and go to the bye. And then the week after, we come back to Lincoln Financial Field and we face the Washington football team. I am going to go, I'll say win.
Where's it at?
Is Fitzpatrick back by then?
Home. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Even if he is, he's gonna be rusty as hell. But
yeah,
definitely he's an upgrade over what they have now.
And Ryan Fitzpatrick always plays well against us, and that's why you'll see in two games from now. You'll see. I'll get to it. But go ahead.
Now, where's it? Is that here or there?
It's here in Philly.
After the bye.
After the bye.
That's a win.
Win. All right. What did you say, Jeff?
I had to win.
Win. Okay. All right. New York Giants come and visit us at the link.
I have a loss. We always play tough.
Yeah.
We're going to split. We'll split with them.
That's how I feel.
That's how I feel too. I think that's a loss. But we all agree. I think we all agree that that's a loss too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So loss. And then week after we face Washington again at Washington this time. I have a loss because I think that's when Ryan Fitzpatrick will be back. So that's a loss.
I agree.
Okay,
cool.
And that's a shithole place. So.
It is. All right, and then the final game of the year, the Cowboys will probably be sitting starters, but it's against the Cowboys here at home.
And that's going to be an interesting thing because depending on how the rest of the NFC shapes out, with the fact that we have all these wins in here, do the Cowboys at that point, do they try to keep us out of the playoffs possibly if we're in playoff contention and play their starters, or are they going to say screw it, just worry about the playoffs?
They're going to worry about the playoffs.
Because that's the thing with the playoffs now, only one team gets a bye week. It's not like unless they're playing for that first round bye, it's not like it really matters that much. So of course you want to go in healthy.
Yeah. I say win because I think the Cowboys will rest their starters.
I agree.
I'm going to say win as well. They haven't beat Dallas in a while. I think Dallas by that point will be either they'll know where they're at for either the first seed or where their seeding is going to be. If they need the game for a matchup purposes, maybe. But if it's just as it is, how the season's going to go, how we think it's going to go, I see that as a win because I don't think Dallas is going to have anything to play for.
I hope that's the case, and for somehow we escape again the playoffs. We don't play them back-to-back weeks because we know how well that freaking happens.
Oh God, yeah.
That combine word playoffs for me right now is foreign. I would be pissed. I won't say pissed. I would be upset if we made the playoffs.
I agree. I'm sort of the same way.
Okay, so my calculations are I end up with them at 8 and 9. Did you guys have the same?
I think I might have them like seven still. I think there was one game. There was one game I had different than you.
I think I had them winning against the Saints. I think you guys had them losing. So I think that was the difference.
Because you were talking with this and not this.
Hey. So 7 or 8 wins. Is that enough to get us the 7th wild card spot? I don't think so. I think we missed.
I don't think
that wild card spot is going to be a winning record.
Yeah,
it's going to be like a 9 and 8 or 10 and 7.
Yeah,
probably.
So I don't think we'll make the playoffs. But hey, 7 or 8 wins roughly. I think the Eagles is realistic, and who knows? Maybe those 7-8 wins, depending on how the team looks, that could say a lot about where this coaching staff is headed going into next year. I have had my criticisms. If I were to pick right now, and if you were to tell me that both coaches would be fired at the end of the year, I wouldn't care. Like I'm not married to either of these coaches, whether it be Sirianni or Gannon. You know, I defend Gannon because I feel like he's getting too much blame, but at the same time, I'm not pounding the table for him. Right. You know, I would absolutely go for someone else. I mean, if Vic Fangio leaves Denver, he's the number one on my board to get defensive coordinator. But that's another conversation for later on in the year. But yeah, I don't really care. But if things go well, if we see improvement from this team, and they do get to like 8 wins, 9 wins maybe, but 8 or 9 wins, we'll see what this coaching staff can do. We'll see what that means. I don't think that Hurts can save himself. Right. I think right now, not so much for us, regardless of what we think. I think the higher ups, Howie and Lori, have their mind made up. I think they know that they can't win.
I'll give you a question. Over under Minshew starts 1.5.
I'm gonna say
I'm going under.
I'm going under. I'm gonna say under.
The only way he is starting is Jalen Hurts gets hurt.
Only if he gets hurt, yeah.
Because otherwise, you're telling the fan base that the Jalen Hurts experiment, it's over. And
but they need to anyway.
And then you have to go next year, in my opinion. If you bench Hurts, you have to go out and try to get a star quarterback in next offseason. Because nothing against Minshew, he can play well unless he plays lights out against some good competition and he show you that he could still be a starter in this league. He's not your answer either. So you obviously have to address something in the draft or in the free agency next by trade next offseason.
Here's another interesting question. Who's our backup? If neither of these guys are the starters, we need a backup. Which one would you rather have? That's another interesting question.
Right.
Because I do believe Minshew is a good backup.
I agree.
He can come in and win you a few games if needed.
And
I also think that Hurts has shown that he is a fringe starter. But can you be a team that gave Hurts a shot and then relegated him to a backup role? Would he be happy with that?
No.
And is there too much controversy where if you bring in someone else and have Hurts behind them, is it too much of a hey, like there's too much what's it called, drama in that
He's
quarterback?
already shown you he's not going to stick around, and that's what I don't understand why that doesn't get talked about enough.
Yep.
Like as soon as he lost his job, the first exit he had, he was out. He may handle it and say the right things behind the camera, but he's not going to stick around. He's not going to want to.
Yeah, I agree. But then other people on here, when he did that, other people on here, I said the same thing, and other people were told me, "Hey, college is different from NFL. That was college. This is NFL. It's not the same thing." But I disagree. I agree with you, Pete. I'm just telling you what other people had said.
He may not have nowhere to go, but he's not going to be putting the same effort into it as a backup. And no, it's not going to be the same. Now,
yes, Justin,
Yo, he's my starter for my keeper league. So, Justin Herbert, shout out to you, man. You've been killing it for my keeper league. He said
big up. What is that device? It looks like Hertz has. It's live. We're live. We're not pre-recorded. It should say on YouTube that we're live, but you could listen to this if you missed. If you just chimed in now, we thank you for being here. But go catch the first half of the show and all your digital media streaming platforms. Usually within 12 hours. But no. So what is that shit that he wears underneath his jersey? It does. It's almost like he has.
Wondering
what is that?
Is that a Kevlar protective vest?
Like is he got a bulletproof? Like you said, a bulletproof vest? Is it like a flat jacket? Like he has bad ribs?
He's pulling a Michael Vick,
bro. Because I feel like it's weighs so much that it can be taken away from his speed. These guys, these two. The throw he had to Mike Williams, bro, and then listen.
Woo.
I'm gonna give shout out to my boys, the Flight Zone on Monday nights. But listen, these dudes is so emotional, so quick to type.
I love them. I love them. I really no. I seriously really do.
Darius Slay was covered on. It was one of those things. Justin Herbert has rolled. He rolled out to his right, threw across his body on the left because he has a cannon. It is nothing you can do. That's somebody else. I don't know what Mike Williams' contract situation is. But I feel as if
he's one of them. He's one of the pending free agent wide receivers.
Yes.
I would absolutely take Mike Williams. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, like you need a body receiver like that. And we haven't had that since Jeffrey. And we haven't had it be successful since, say, 2017, early 2018 season.
Yep.
We haven't had it. And it does help. It does benefit a quarterback because you can just throw it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That play design is something they've been doing all year. The words he's rolling out and then you cross. Like, you can't design that for a quarterback unless the quarterback has the arm.
And can do it.
You literally cannot do
it. And to be honest with you, I don't think Rodgers can do it and make it look as effortless as Herbert does.
Yeah.
Because he drives it. He doesn't loop that. He's throwing that on a line drive
with placement.
Placement.
Unreal. It's unreal. Some of these tight window throws that Herbert makes is unreal. It's like it's so freaking good. It's so good. So I mean, Slay had good coverage too. That's just a better throw. It's just a better throw. It's just a better throw. Any other predictions for the who right now?
I got one.
Teams, who are your teams in the NFC Championship game and AFC Championship game?
Oh, that's tough because none of these teams are. Tampa Bay's one. Not that. I think that's the most consistent team. I mean, I gotta keep it consistent. I'm going to say Tampa, Arizona.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna say in Tampa. Because I can see that Tampa may only lose one more game the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Jeff. Oh no, you have to say your AFC. You have to see your AFC, right?
Ooh, that's really tough because it depends on the fucking week who's the best team in the AFC.
I know,
right? I'll say because look at this game. Some people consider the Ravens. Ravens are only winning 6-3 over the Dolphins at halftime right now.
And I will say I think Lamar Jackson's playing better this year than he did his MVP year, but now he's already MVP. You know how much harder it is to win again after you've already won it.
Yep.
Oh man, that's tough.
We'll come back to you, Jeff. Who are your four teams?
I'm not the type of person to switch my predictions when they're still alive, so I'm gonna stick with my AFC prediction. I had the Bills and the Chiefs.
Okay.
I'll still stick with my Chiefs, even though they're not playing too well. But like I said, the next couple weeks are gonna make or break their season. I'll keep my NFC winners the same. I'll switch their opponent. I'll have the Rams and the Buccaneers, with the Buccaneers winning. So I'm just gonna stick with my rematch with the Chiefs and the Bucs. The fact that it's still alive.
Gotcha. Okay. You got your AFC teams yet, Pete?
No.
Not yet. Okay, so NFC. I am going for a rematch. I'm going Bucs, Packers.
Yeah.
Bucs, Packers. With the Packers coming out on top this time. Packers are gonna come out on top.
I'm hoping.
And beat the Bucs in NFC.
I'm tired of people calling Aaron Rodgers overrated. The fact that he's 1-4 in NFC Championship games. So I want Aaron Rodgers to make it to the Super Bowl and get that second Lombardi, to surpass the great Brett Favre, who only has one Super Bowl win.
Yeah. AFC, I'm going. It's tough. That's tough. Okay. Let's go. Let's make it interesting. I'm going to go Chargers and Browns.
Chargers and who?
Browns.
Okay.
Can you imagine that? So the OBJ,
one of the teams get to their first Super Bowl.
OBJ goes to the Rams.
Right.
The Rams don't make it to the NFC Championship game, but the Browns without OBJ make it to the AFC Championship game. The storylines, baby. And then we just talked about Justin Herbert and the Chargers team. I was high on them before the season, so I'm going to stick with them. I was high on both teams, the Chargers and Browns. So I'm going to stick with my hype around them. I say Chargers, Browns in the AFC Championship game. I don't know who would win. But I think the Browns on defense especially are so talented, and they're starting to figure it out. And with Kareem Hunt coming back soon, that running game is still going to carry them a lot.
So if you have because right now the Browns are like the eighth team in the AFC. Who do you have as the odd team out right now? Then
I don't know.
Yeah, they're the ninth. So right now it's the Titans, Ravens, Chargers, and Bills as the top four.
Yeah.
Raiders, Steelers, and Patriots as the 5 through 7.
I say Steelers out. I think the Steelers won't be able to keep it up.
Okay. And the Ravens and Browns haven't played yet, right? I don't think.
I don't know.
So. Let me check Brown's schedule real quick.
I don't know. Maybe I feel like they did once, but I couldn't.
I don't think they played at all.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
So this week they have the Patriots. They have the Lions next week. The Ravens on the 28th. Back-to-back weeks actually. They have a bye week in between, and then they come back home against the Ravens.
Ooh, so there you go. That's the deciding factor.
I can see the Browns winning it.
Yep, that's the deciding factor. And so, speaking of the Ravens, real quick, what the hell is going on? They're losing 3-6 at halftime to the Dolphins.
It's because the Dolphins defense actually showed up. And this is why I can't pick the Ravens to go to the AFC Championship game, because they just don't have enough on offense yet. And it's not dynamic enough. Yeah. If Lamar Jackson isn't out there being Superman, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So I am saying my AFC Championship game matchup will be Tennessee Titans hosting the Buffalo Bills.
You still have the Titans even without Derrick Henry?
Dude, listen, when I tell you that this team is tired of everybody sitting there saying that Derrick Henry is all that they are, and you literally forget that they got Julio and AJ Brown, who's just a younger version and the poorest man's Julio.
I agree.
Listen, and then they got the ageless one running the ball. They got AP. He can stave them. He can give them some carries. And the defense it's you got Jeffrey Simmons, you got Harold Landry. I mean, you got players. I think didn't they also sign Bud Dupree from Pittsburgh? I believe they did.
I think they did.
And you got Bayard. You got a decent secondary, and you got Tannehill just not making mistakes. Like they stole a game. I can see them doing a lot of the same things they did on Sunday against the Rams.
Yeah,
and a lot of other games. And their schedule so far has been pretty tough. They played the Chiefs. They played the Bills. Now they played the Rams. I can't see their schedule getting much harder than that and the teams that they're going to play. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's me. But bold prediction, Mike Zimmer doesn't make it to the rest of the season.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Mike Zimmer doesn't make it to the rest of the season.
All right. I'll piggyback off of that, and I'll say Matt Nagy doesn't make it to the rest of the season.
No. What did that poll question end up being? What were the final results?
That was going to be my no huddle. All right, are we going to it?
Yeah, we got 5 minutes left.
Let's do no huddle right now. We good? All right, no huddle. All right, our no huddle segment, guys, is brought to you by Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. If you need mental health therapy and addiction detox, please call 856-651-8117 and tell them Tom sent you. No huddle. Let's go. Let's do this. All right. We're kicking off end of the show, bringing this show to a wrap. And let me say, after that performance that the Bears had, they almost pulled that out. And if it wasn't for the refs, I think they would have pulled that out. I think we can all agree on that. All right.
Horrible.
Justin Fields. I'll get into this in a bit. But Justin Fields, look, he's looking good. He's starting to put it together. He's looking good. I really like what I've seen. So because I was wondering, and I personally don't have a set opinion on this. I put a poll question out on Twitter saying, knowing what we know right now, just at this moment, did the Eagles make the right move in selecting Devontae Smith and giving a year to Hurts, or should they have picked Justin Fields? And that poll question ended up being a resounding win for Devontae Smith. A lot of people, I think it was like 80-something% Devontae Smith. And I was having some really good discussions with some of the people commenting off of that. Because again, I don't have a set opinion on it. I'm up in the air because I see the arguments for both sides. All right. So I like having the discussion because it's really tough to say. There are some people, some Eagles fans on here that wanted to reply and say, Justin Fields hasn't done anything. He's done nothing. Why would you pick Justin Fields over Jalen Hurts? And roughly that's, they're saying that, hey, Hurts has proven more than Justin Fields so far. If you are an Eagles fan that wouldn't want Justin Fields merely because so far in this season you haven't seen him prove anything, one, you probably haven't been watching Justin Fields. And two, if you have, you don't know what you're watching, because Justin Fields does stuff, and he's already shown. Justin Fields does things on the football field that Jalen Hurts just cannot. And I'm talking about from a QB passing standpoint. I was watching QB School YouTube channel. JT O'Sullivan. He does great breakdowns, great QB breakdowns. And he has his 20+ minute video on Justin Fields and all the improvements he's made. It's such a really good video. Again, I learn a lot from him when it comes to QB evaluations. Justin Fields really looks like he's going to be a franchise quarterback. And there's a reason why Justin Fields was drafted in the first round and why Jalen Hurts was drafted in the second. And Jalen Hurts being drafted in the second was only because the Eagles went up and reached for him. He wasn't going to be picked until the third or fourth. So if you can't tell the difference between a Justin Fields and a Jalen Hurts, I cannot help you. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. All I'm saying is I cannot help you. Just learn the game. Just like retrain your eyes and learn the game. All right? Because to me it's not it's easy. You watch them and Justin Fields shows so much more, has so much more upside than Jalen Hurts. So if they were in the same draft class and you're just picking them from a vacuum, I am 1,000% picking Justin Fields over Jalen Hurts. And I'm pretty sure all of you would agree.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, I see 40 boy Lou coming at your neck. Don't come at his neck because I'm the one who came up with the fucking question. Then my man immediately went to the poll on Twitter. And I asked the question from the standpoint of just watching the ball come out of Justin Fields' hands. And if you talk about player for player, I would say yes, Smith probably coming in is a Heisman Trophy winner. Like you can't come off of that. But I think people forget Justin Fields was ranked higher as a recruit over Trevor Lawrence coming out of the state of Georgia. When you look at the position, if you have Justin Fields on this team, minus Devontae Smith, do you and have the same exact record? Do you feel better or worse than what you feel right now? Ask yourself that as an Eagles fan.
And let me just address 40 boy Lil. I know you're probably just busting my balls, and I'll say it again. I deserve it. I deserve criticism. I don't think people will ever let me live that down, and deservedly so. I was very, very wrong on Reagor. All right, so I was very, very wrong on Reagor. But me being wrong on Reagor doesn't mean I was wrong about Jefferson. People forget the fact that I had the same grade as on Jefferson. I had Jefferson as a first-round grade. It was never a fact that I was low on Jefferson. I never thought Jefferson sucked. I always thought Jefferson was going to be a stud. I just thought that Reagor was also going to be a stud. So that's the thing. I had them as equal grades, and I used the team need that the Eagles had for a deep threat as a crutch, and that was wrong for me to do. But when you're talking about quarterbacks and you're talking about Fields and Hurts, I don't know. I mean, it's not just me. It's teams and scouts that took Fields early in the first round and didn't want to take Hurts till later on. So am I really reaching here? Am I really the one reaching? But what I was going to say, and you guys can rebuttal, is the fact that like it's complicated when you factor in the circumstances behind the picks. Right. That's where it gets really complicated. And we took Jalen Hurts in the second round, and people would argue, I know like Tom and a lot of people at ADD will argue, you already took him in the second round the year before. You had to give him a year. You had to try to see what you had in Jalen Hurts. It's too much of a bad look to go QB back to back early on in the draft. And I totally understand that, because also we loved Jalen Hurts as a leader and, from intangibles wise. So we wanted really bad for him to work out. And if he turned out to be great, that would be great for us. So I totally get that side of the argument. What I would argue against that, and what makes it tough, is the fact that it doesn't matter if you take quarterbacks back to back. Look at what the Cardinals did. The Cardinals took Rosen? Josh Rosen. In the first round 1 year. The next year they took Kyler Murray and got rid of Josh Rosen.
Well, I don't think Josh Rosen's in the league anymore.
I think he's a backup somewhere in the press squad.
Probably.
I would say it worked out for the Cardinals taking quarterbacks back to back. The point of the draft and drafting quarterbacks is, if you believe in a guy to be your guy, you go out and get him. So is Fields a quarterback that you believed in enough to say, hey, he's a franchise quarterback? Because if he was, then the Eagles should have gotten him.
Yep.
The Eagles should have gotten him. Now, maybe they didn't. Maybe Howie Roseman and company didn't believe in Justin Fields to be the guy. And if they didn't, then okay, that's fine. You don't believe him to be the guy. then it makes sense to go with Devontae. And I love having Devontae.
Yep.
I love having Devontae, so I'm not going to complain about that because hindsight is 2020. But my whole point of putting the poll question out there and having the discussion is because it's such a really tough question to answer.
Yep.
So real quick, I know we're, it's supposed to be rapid fire, but I think it's a good topic. So I want to get your thoughts on it, Pete and Jeff. What do you think? What route, looking back on it now, would you have gone in that draft, Devontae or Fields?
From my perspective, I would have went Fields. From my perspective. Simply because, like you said, the QB position as a whole just is so much more valuable if you get that right. If you get that right, it's so much more valuable. And then if hindsight say they don't take Rager and they take Justin Jefferson, you definitely take Fields in that standpoint. And this is the one thing, and I think part of me believes how he wanted to take Fields, but after you got rid of Carson and that whole situation and how the fan base automatically loved Hurts already, imagine if they would, in his position, if you take Justin Fields in that position, how do you sell that to your fan base? Right? How do you sell that? You can't, like, how do you sell that to your fan base that we just spent the number 10 overall pick? We actually traded up to get Justin Fields. You know what I mean? And then they knew the Giants weren't going for Justin Fields. You feel what I'm saying? They knew the Giants wanted Devontae Smith. So it's so many different factors when you look at it from when you take a step back and you look at it like them taking Devontae Smith over Justin Fields was such a Philadelphia Eagles front office thing to do. You see what I'm saying? It's just such a front office thing for them to do. Straight football wise, Justin Fields, because he's a QB and it's a wide receiver. I agree with 40 Borloo. If you just look at talent and the playing a position, yeah, obviously Devontae Smith has a higher ceiling. Devontae Smith has arguably the potential to be a top 2 wide receiver in the league.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's going to be an elite wide receiver. I think.
Right. I can't say if Justin Fields will be an elite QB, but I will tell you this: if we had Justin Fields this year, do we win more games? Possibly. You look what he's doing against Matt. Listen, I will hand Nick Sirianni has his flaws. He has his faults. He's fucking better than Matt Nagy because Matt Nagy is atrocious.
Oh man, and it's crazy that we're saying that because after his first year,
right,
everyone was high on Nagy.
Right,
crazy.
But he's atrocious. But Justin Fields, it's just and how far have we fallen as a fan base that we forget what it's like when we ask that poll question, and you seen what Carson did in 2019. To get them to the playoffs with that ragtag group of wide receivers and skill positions. That's what I'm saying. Now, yes, we would lose Devontae, but if you get a QB who can be halfway serviceable, he can elevate the play of the skill positions, right? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's just me. And I hate to do this, but we put ourselves in this position because literally if we took the strategy that the Cowboys took and just draft the best player on the board available, but we had DK, we had Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
you wouldn't have had these problems. You wouldn't have had these questions.
Yeah.
It's just when you try to get too cute and you don't listen to the scouts that you pay for. They tell you to take Jeremy Chin instead of taking Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Jeremy Chin.
Maxey with 33 points tonight in a loss.
Yeah, what's your take? What would you have done? And again, like, be honest. Like, even if you disagree with us, that's fine.
I'll say the way the draft panned out, I probably still would go Devontae Smith, just because unless Jalen Hurts the year before in those 4.5 games showed a little bit more where you were possibly able to maybe move him before or during the draft to get some type of compensation for him, then yes, you get the quarterback, because we knew going into next year's draft that it was going to be somewhat, we knew it wasn't going to be a very deep class as far as the quarterback position. So you need a quarterback on this roster, which is why they went with Jalen Hurts, which is why they drafted Devontae Smith. But I don't think Howie and the scouts were really panning that out, because they kind of figured in their eyes, hey, we have 3 first-round picks. Just if Jalen Hurts doesn't pan out, we can draft a quarterback next year. Because when the hell is the last time that there's potentially hasn't been a quarterback taken within the first 10, 15 picks? I can't remember a draft that has last happened, which next year, depending on the rest of the college football season, depending on the scouting combine, is a possibility. So once again, the Eagles get screwed when we potentially have 3 first round picks and there's no quarterback to be freaking said. Once again, we're first. So I understand why they went with Devontae, because again, building towards the future, you wanted to give Jalen Hurts an opportunity. If he didn't pan out, you can possibly draft someone. So at this point, if you didn't feel Jalen Hurts was the guy and you still wanted a quarterback, maybe instead of Devontae, why don't you use that first-round pick on one of the veteran quarterbacks? That way you have a guy for the next 4 or 5 years and build those 3 first-round picks, maybe get a Dotson or someone else in next year's draft. So all around, I kind of feel the Eagles kind of screwed themselves and screwed the pooch when it came to the whole situation. Nothing against Devontae Smith. I agree with you. He's a tremendous talent. He was arguably 1A, 1B top wide receiver in the draft. They need to go out there and get a weapon. They need to show the fan base that they can get a weapon in here to build around this offense and get a quarterback help, because that's one thing Carson Wentz had bitched and complained about last season. So I get why they went Devontae, but if they weren't sold on Jalen Hurts, and it seems like they might not be sold on Jalen Hurts at this point, I don't know what the direction they're going with, because honestly, on a rookie deal, he might still be here next year unless they surprise us and get a guy like Aaron Rodgers or get Russell Wilson or one of these guys with one of the first-round picks.
It's also really difficult because, to what you were saying, like, great. Now I lost my train of thought. I'll try to figure it out. But 408 Boy does have a comment here. Fields would look like shit on the Eagles because why else would be Reggie Watkins and Hightower and J. Jaw, so he would look like a fraction of what he looks like at the Bears. The thing is, regardless of who the wide receivers are, you can still look at the film and break down the film and see what process the quarterback is taking when it comes to running the offense outside of what his wide receivers are. You can take a look and you can see, okay, is Fields scanning the defense? Is he going through progressions? Is he properly analyzing the defense pre-snap and post-snap? Is he throwing balls that are accurate enough to a wide receiver regardless of if they're open or not? It's like all these things you can evaluate from a quarterback regardless of what talent is out there around him. Would his production be the same? No, obviously not. But that's why I always say it's not all about production and stats. You have to watch a game film, and you have to watch and evaluate talent and what a player is doing on the field. So that's what my answer would be to that. But I mean, it's a fair point, but I think you still would be able to see the difference in talent in between Hurts with Devontae and Fields without Devontae.
Yeah. Right.
It's a good discussion. 40 Boy Lou, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. He says we can all agree on this. Fire Howie Roseman. Yes, that we do agree with 1,000%. Sorry that my no huddle topic took about 20 minutes. But if you guys have anything else, if you want to throw one real quick, you can too.
No, I'm good. So how real quick before we get out of here, how's little man doing?
Better. He is back to his normal self. I think he finally felt back to his normal self on Sunday. So he's doing really well. He's also right here.
There he is.
Smiling, he's laughing, and he's also finally starting to learn to eat. So we're making progress in that department. So yeah, say hi. Say he ate some grits today.
Ooh,
he's doing well.
You gotta get some stripper grits in you, man. Yeah. Looking more and more like his daddy every day, I swear.
You know what it is? Like when he smiles and laughs, that's when I especially see it, because like I can I can show you like baby pictures of myself. Like that's when I'm like, okay, yeah, I see me, my like I see how you look exactly like me, right? So when you smile and you laugh, but he's doing good. Thank you for asking.
Not a problem, man. Anytime.
Yeah.
But listen, family, appreciate you rocking with us. Stay tuned tomorrow. I think we got Fan Friday. Saturday we got Zach and Steve. I know they do the spotlight and in this very ring with Andy. Sunday we got the flagship Agree to Disagree, Rant Booth, and also Money Pot. Hit you with a 3-piece on Saturday. And then you already know Mondays. I think Monday's a 3-piece too. There's 6 shows between Sunday and Monday in 48 hours.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah.
It's
So
crazy.
a lot of things coming, man. A lot of things. Get you talk on the weekend. Follow us. Do the A2D membership. Follow Money Pop Podcast. Make some money. You know what I mean, put some food on the table. I didn't bet on anything tonight because I did not like that Ravens game at all.
I didn't bet anything either.
At all. And it's proven right. It's proven right. So Jeff, you got anything before we get out of here?
No, hopefully Eagles pull off Sunday, and then everyone have a safe and enjoy the weekend. A couple weeks away from Turkey Day, so I'll look forward to that.
2 weeks.
Turkey day. Turkey day. You gonna eat turkey? Eat turkey. All right, fam. Well, thank you so much for myself, Chux, for the little one, Grayson Westbrook, for Pete over to my left, for Jeff down on the bottom, and the rest of the A2D family. We appreciate your support. Thank you for tuning in. We enjoyed it. Tonight was fun. Next week will be even more fun because we get even more fun every week. So thank you for tuning in again. We love you. Stay safe. God bless. Go Birds. We'll see you next week, guys.
Peace.
Peace.